Pleasure now to welcome via the 97.3 The Fan hotline for the first time on the program, a former two-time MLS All-Star and MLS Best 11 player, 13-year veteran of the league who has transitioned to become a member of the studio analyst for MLS Season Pass. You can watch him on MLS 360, MLS Countdown. Sasha Kljestan joining us now to talk some Major League Soccer on 97.3 The Fan. Sasha, Craig, and Annie here in San Diego. Great to have you on.
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me.
Well, the pleasure is ours. Great to have someone of your pedigree on. Great to have Major League Soccer here in San Diego. And, of course, on Sunday, 2-0 at one of your former clubs, Galaxy. A huge result on the night that they waved around the MLS Cup and raised the banner. Obviously, a shocking result within MLS. What were your thoughts and impressions on that dramatic debut?
I mean, I think we were all a little bit shocked, but my impressions are San Diego looked like a very good team. And what a way to start your season, to start your club, to get off on the right foot, to ignite a fan base. I thought San Diego was very, very good. They looked very well coached, and they've got some difference makers in attack, which is basically all you can ask for. So now what I always say is after a good game, you have to back it up. And now you've got the fans excited. Can they do it at home in a tough game against St. Louis on Saturday?
Sasha, just to go into a little bit about SDFC joining this sports market in San Diego, this is a long time coming. And like you said, they're going to have their first home game on Saturday. What do you think of San Diego as a market as a whole for Major League Soccer?
Well, I'm very excited by it, because it brings in the rivalry with the LA Galaxy and LAFC and even San Jose Earthquakes. We got 4 teams in California now. San Diego is a big market. And I know these fans, especially sports fans down there, have been waiting for a soccer team for a long time. So I'm just excited for everybody to get the buzz, to see what it's like. A soccer game is much different than going to a baseball game or going to a Chargers game. So I really hope that the fans are excited about this, because I think the atmosphere in the stadium is going to be awesome.
Yeah, I was watching you guys break down the film on the Countdown program last weekend, Sasha, and one thing that you guys noted is something that as a soccer fan you couldn't help but note watching, which was how SDFC, following that right to dream blueprint that they talked about for a year, high pressure, possession, creative, attacking, dynamic, all of those elements stood out on the pitch. It went from the whiteboard in the training ground to the pitch. What are the advantages? What are the possible perils for the high press strategy that we see Mikey Varas and SDFC utilizing?
So when I played for the New York Red Bulls, we also played in a high pressing system. And what I learned is that if one guy is late, the dominoes start to fall. Or if one guy is lazy, or if not everybody is on the same page at the same time and you get passed through, it's a fire alarm and you got to be chasing back. And so what I could say from week 1 is they were near perfect at it and everybody was on the same page. So a lot of coaches can come in and say all those words you said: dynamic, high pressing, we want to be good with the ball, we want to attack, all these buzzwords. They don't mean anything unless you can put it into work on the field. And it's very hard to do while only being together for 6 weeks in preseason. So I got to give them a lot of credit because they looked very good at that in week 1.
Yeah, and as this market and these fans start to learn about this team, who are some of the veteran players on SDFC that you think fans are going to learn about and be interested in as the season goes on?
Yeah, well, everybody knows about Chucky Lozano, but I think the 2 most impressive players in the midfield in game 1 were Zverkov, which is the defensive midfielder. He's kind of the conductor. And then Luca De La Torre, who's the local kid from San Diego who comes back from Europe. I thought he was very good. When San Diego plays the way they want to play and be brave with the ball and build up from the back, you need midfielders who can progress the ball from back to front. And De La Torre, looked impeccable at that in week 1. And then, of course, Anders Dreyer is the guy who gets all the credit, getting the 2 goals, putting the ball in the back of the net. He's a fantastic player. I've seen him play a lot because he's come from Anderlecht, which is my former club that I played for in Europe. And a quick little story, this offseason, myself, Kevin Egan, Bradley Wright Phillips, the 3 of us that are on the Countdown and the wrap-up show for Apple TV on MLS Season Pass, we went to Belgium to see my old team play on a little boys trip to Europe. And I sat with the owner of my club in the first half. And in the second half, I went and sat with Bradley and Kevin. I said, which player stood out to you? And they said, this guy, Anders Dreyer, looks like he would be very good in MLS. lo and behold, a few weeks later, he signs for San Diego, and he's the star in week one. He's a very good player. He should get a lot of goals and a lot of assists this season.
We're talking to Sasha Kljestan, studio analyst for MLS Season Pass on Apple TV, which is the home for every Major League Soccer match, including San Diego FC and St. Louis City SC coming up on Saturday. We know very broadly, Sasha, that St. Louis City SC came in their first year as an expansion team. They had a great record going into the playoffs, didn't have success in the playoffs. Things took a step back a little bit last year. What do we need to know about the opponent out there on Saturday night?
Well, when you talk about a team that wants to press high up the field and put the other team under pressure, St. Louis does that with the best of them in Major League Soccer. So that's part of their ethos and part of their DNA. So where San Diego was able to pass through the Galaxy, they made it look easy because the Galaxy is not a pressing team. They're very old up front. They're not very dynamic right now. So this game is going to be much tougher for San Diego. They have to be brave, and they have to continue to try to play with their game plan, but be ready to do it a little bit faster. St. Louis did a lot of their work last year in the summer transfer window by adding a couple players up front, mainly strikers, and Simon Bescher and Marcel Hartel. Those are two very good players that they're going to have to shut down.
Sasha, it looks like Apple TV just continues to grow their programming around MLS. And of course, you're part of that. What's it been like going from your playing days to your broadcasting days? And how do you find that you prepare? How are things different being on this side of it?
It's been a great transition for me. It's been a little over 2 years now. I really enjoy not having a coach telling me what to do every single day anymore. And I'm kind of my own boss until the weekends when we got to get on TV. But it's been great. I really enjoy being a part of the league. I've been a massive fan of Major League Soccer since 1996 when the league started, and then fortunate enough to play for so many years in the league, and now to still be a part of it and using my voice to tell stories about Major League Soccer, which, like I said, I'm a huge fan. It's been a fun transition. I really enjoy the people I work with. I think we have a great product that we put on the TV every weekend between our MLS Countdown show, which is, a 1 hour preview of all the biggest games on Saturday night. And then MLS 360, which for, a fan who hasn't seen it yet, it's basically our version of the NFL Red Zone, where you catch all the action for 5.5 hours straight. Which is probably more exhausting than it was as a player to play a game. By the end of the night, I am knackered. But it's a really great product. If your team isn't playing and you just want to see all the goals and all the action, it's really fun. And now, of course, we've added Sunday Night Soccer, which is our version of Monday Night Football, which will be the marquee matchup of every weekend on Sunday night, appointment viewing, and hopefully we get as good a game as we got last week with San Diego and LA Galaxy.
Incredible stuff, and appreciate that salesmanship, especially for MLS 360, because I think that's a great way to maybe get integrated on many of the other clubs that fans don't know. Along those lines, Sasha, we wanted to ask another kind of broad question, which is, we're all, for the most part, new MLS fans here in San Diego, so we don't know what we don't know yet. If you catch my drift, I'm curious, what are some of the things that we can expect as fans as winter turns to spring, turns to summer?
Well, there are so many more competitions than just Major League Soccer that San Diego FC will be a part of. There's also the U.S. Open Cup, which is the longest team sports tournament in the United States. It's been around for over 100 years, where teams from Major League Soccer all the way down to amateur teams enter the tournament. That's a massive one. Then you also have the Leagues Cup, which is pitting 18 MLS teams against 18 teams from Liga MX in Mexico and trying to determine who's the best team in North America. That's an awesome competition. And then there's the CONCACAF Champions Cup, which San Diego has not qualified for yet. Hopefully they will next year if they finish high enough in the table this year. So you have lots of different tournaments, you have lots of different games. And like I said, I hope the fans go to the stadium and actually feel the atmosphere, because it's so much different than any other sporting event in America. The action goes on for 90 minutes straight, and the fans never take a breath.
Outstanding, man. Before we let you go, just one last thing. I wouldn't have known this if I hadn't tuned into the show this weekend, but picked SDFC 15th out of 15. Now 3 huge points. I mean, 33 results to go, but, but what do you think? I mean, what do you think? Maybe better than 15th?
Yeah, listen. The reason every one of us in the studio picked them to finish 15th is because we've never seen them play a game before. So listen, St. Louis proved us all wrong 2 years ago, and it looks like San Diego is going to prove us all wrong again. This is also the thing to know about Major League Soccer is the parity within the league. The last 3 champions of MLS finished by not making the playoffs the year before. So by that logic, who are the teams this year that could step up, can make a deep run in the playoffs? Maybe San Diego is one of them. I'd just like to throw out one other thing for fans, not of the league yet. There's so much drama involved in sports, right? And if you've seen Drive to Survive, the Formula One documentary, or Full Swing, the PGA Tour documentary on Netflix, we have one of our own. It just came out. It's called Onside. It's on Apple TV, and it follows all the drama of last season in Major League Soccer, and it's a really, really good watch. Cool. If you want to learn more about Major League Soccer.
Oh, that is really smart from the standpoint of how to get people with compelling programming. And I'm absolutely going to be checking that out probably later tonight, Sasha. Sasha Kljestan, thank you so much. Really informative. Appreciate everyone, every minute that you gave us right here, and hope to do it again as the season continues. Thank you so much for the time today.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.